If you're held back by the fear of judgment or the fear of rejection in any way in your business, then this video is for you. I'm going to talk about the 10 ways to develop the muscle of giving zero fucks about what others think of you. And the result of this is going to be total freedom. Freedom to express, freedom to be you. And as a result of that, your business will explode for two reasons. Firstly, you're going to be so much more consistent with your content because you're no longer going to be overthinking things or second guessing yourself. And then secondly, I believe the best marketing strategy there is authenticity, because as corny and as cliche as it sounds, no one can beat you at being you. There's a great quote that says, "Don't try and be the best, be the only." And there's a certain level of magnetism that comes with authenticity. And I know this to be true because I've personally experienced it. So I was once a massive people pleaser. I was the nice guy that would say yes to everything when I meant no. I would do things just because others thought I should. And with my content, I was just vanilla. I also was just sharing stuff in my content that I was learning, because I was trying to almost impress people, trying to prove how clever I was. Like I was reading stuff by Joe Dispenza and then sharing it in my content, almost, to be validated, to be liked. And I got likes, I got the engagement, but I didn't get many clients from my content at first because people can sense authenticity, they can sense realness. And I wasn't real with that stuff because I wasn't living it. I was translating it. I was trying to prove how clever and smart I was. Now I've developed this muscle of not giving a fuck what other people think of me. Like I genuinely do not mind what you think of me. I truly do not mind. I could say anything right now. Poo poo pee pee pants. And if that offends you, if that puts you off me, then fuck off. With love, of course. But hopefully you get what I'm saying here. I genuinely don't mind what you think of me or feel about me. I care because that's just a human condition, right? But I don't mind. And with that has come this level of freedom and this authenticity. And because of that, when I share from that place and I share my truth and what's worked for me and my experience and create my dream life and share from that place, I've developed this level of magnetism. And my business right now feels pretty easy. Like I'm creating dream clients all the time, relatively effortlessly, because I've developed this magnetism. This level of magnetism comes from speaking from your core, from your heart, rather than the mind. When you speak from the mind, it's about manipulation, it's about tactics and strategies. And sure, you can create clients from that place, but it's just stressful. You're always trying to second guess yourself. My invite today is start to really step into who you are and share from that place. And I'm going to share the 10 ways that I developed this muscle today. But first, if you're new to me, my name's Joel. I'm a business coach to heart-led coaches, and I help them become more powerful in their being, more potent in their coaching, and more profitable in their business. So let's get into the 10 ways to develop this muscle of not giving a fuck what other people think, which is what we're all here for, right? So the first is a model called the ACT model. This is your ticket to freedom. Genuinely, there is so much in this model. And I think it's summarized by this amazing quote by Viktor Frankl, who said, "Between stimulus and response, there is space. And in that space is our power to choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and our freedom." Because all fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of judgment is a stimulus. It's a memory in our body, an emotional signature, a thought. And if we are unconscious and we don't have any awareness, then the stimulus just drives our reaction. Like we feel the fear of being judged, we don't create the content, or we feel the fear of being rejected, we don't invite the person to our program. That's if we have no awareness, we have no gap. But by developing the awareness, we widen the gap. We become aware of the thought, the feeling, the emotion. And then in that gap, we can choose a different response. Now, key thing to know here is that a stimulus that is a fear, like fear of judgment or fear of rejection, will create a state in our body of being overactivated, because that's what fear does. It heightens our state, so we're in that fight or flight state. to choose a different response from that state is very difficult. So what we need to do is regulate or go through centering. Essentially, we're changing state from activated to downregulated or relaxed. So if we're in that fight or flight response and it's not going to serve us, taking ourselves through centering will change our state so that we're in a more relaxed and calm state. And then if we choose to respond from that state and trust that, that is how we grow. That is how we become free, because we are choosing a different reaction, different response. This is where growth lies. Number 2 is developing a courage to be misunderstood. And this has been so big for me, because if we don't have this courage to be misunderstood, we just dumb ourselves down, we filter ourselves out, and we just become vanilla, and our content just blends in. We don't stand for anything because we're trying to appeal to everyone. Sure, we might get lots of likes and a bit of virality, but we won't get clients. And I'll give you an example. So I know people judge me for being a business coach to coaches. You know, I see people roll their eyes. Oh, like another business coach of coaches, hey? And then to add on that, I help coaches get to 10K months or 6-figure years. And I know lots of people judge me for that. However, I also know a business truth. That is, sell people what they want, and your audience will always tell you what they want. In all my onboarding forms, my clients tell me they want to get to 10K months or 6-figure years. So I'm willing to get out of my own way. I'm willing to be misunderstood, and I have the courage to be misunderstood and use this marketing truth, sell people what they want. And because of that, my business is growing. I know people are judging me, but I just don't mind about them, because I'm focused on helping the people that want help and are willing to take action. Everyone else can fuck off. So developing this courage to be misunderstood has been absolutely huge for me. Number 3 is developing unshakable confidence. When you have this unshakable confidence, you just don't let things stick to you. Things just bounce off you. People have thoughts about you, they just bounce off me. People say stuff to you, they bounce off you. To develop this unshakable confidence, it's really about creating new evidence. And for me, it's about creating evidence of you're capable of doing hard things. This is why I rely on an idea called reverse indicators. So reverse indicators are essentially the things that you're avoiding. So I use the things I'm procrastinating on, things I'm scared to do, where I have self-doubt, the people I don't want to reach out to, the content I don't want to create. I use all of those as reverse indicators, i.e. a sign of what to do, not what not to do. And I've done this now for the last 6 to 7 years, that I've developed such unshakable confidence because I now trust myself to do hard things. For example, I've woken up at 5 a.m. for the last 6 to 7 years. Now, that is a hard thing. I never want to wake up at that time. But because I have, for the last 6 to 7 years, I have such a deep level of self-trust in my word, who I am, and have developed such amazing self-confidence, this unshakable confidence as a result. Another example is every Friday in the gym, I go dark. I essentially take myself to my body's and mental edge. I take myself to a really dark place where my body is screaming at me, my lungs are burning, lactic acid is filling up, and I want to give in that moment. But I know that's the moment that I develop this mental fortitude and this confidence. So something I learned from a guy called Damian Brown, he says, in that moment, when you want to give up, focus on the 4 controllables: your breath, self-talk, body posture, and effort. So for example, if I'm on the rowing machine and I want to give up, I'll just say, Joel, 30 more seconds, you can do it. I pump myself up. And of course, I can always do it. And if I get through that, when I get through that, I feel really proud that I didn't give up and I went through and lent into that hardship and lent into that hard moment. This is how we build unshakable confidence. And with this, things just don't stick to you. They just bounce off you. Number 4 is unconditional self-love. There's this idea that all fear leads to the fear of abandonment. But when you love yourself unconditionally, there kind of is no fear of abandonment because you always have yourself. Now, what I would say about self-love is that it's not all just bubble baths and candles. Like, yes, that stuff's nice and give yourself that stuff for sure. But for me, self-love is about looking after myself. It's about building self-trust with myself. And it's about speaking my truth. It's about pursuing my dreams. And it's actually about developing discipline. I've asked myself regularly, how would I eat if I loved myself fully? Well, I would eat healthier. I would eat more veg and salads and what have you? How would I exercise if I love myself fully? When I'd exercise every day, I'd move every day, I'd walk every day. This is true self-love. And sometimes it means doing the uncomfortable thing. Of course, bubble baths and compassion and what have you. Yes, we need that stuff. But we also need a level of discipline and emotional discipline to develop this unconditional self-love. Number 5 is knowing yourself, knowing who you are. And this is deep, deep work. And it's why I'll always be working with a therapist or a coach to really understand who I am and what's my truth versus like what's my conditioned mind. And I think so many people are afraid of sharing online because they're not sharing their truth. They're not speaking their truth. And, you know, a big thing that I've been through is that when you speak your truth, you cannot be wrong. So a filter that I put myself through or take myself through when I'm creating content is, am I living this? Is this my truth? Because when it's not, that's when I fear being judged, or that's when I fear being rejected, because there's part of me that knows, there's part of me that's like, this isn't your truth, Joel. So the fear kicks in. But when you're speaking your truth, there's so much freedom that you have in that moment because you just can't be wrong. There is no fear of being rejected or being judged because judge me all you like. This is my truth. I cannot be wrong from this place. Now, this all sounds fine and dandy, but this is deep, deep inner work. This is about feeling unfelt emotions, integrating past trauma. It's about, you know, spending time examining our core wounds and our shadows. And this is life's work, really, and it's a constant process, and it's why I'll always be working with someone. Number 6 is joining a community where speaking your truth is welcome. And I'll share an example with this. So I once hated confrontation. I mean, my body still does. My body still very much has that response to confrontation. I've developed the muscle now to lean into the confrontation. And it all started from this men's retreat I went on last summer. So on the last or second to last day, we had this dark arrow circle where essentially we went into the middle and we called out one person that we had beef with or tension with. And we shared our tension, the tension we had with that person. And this was the first time I'd ever spoke my truth to someone like this. And it was met with so much love and so much non-judgment that it really allowed me such freedom to start speaking my truth and not take responsibility for how other people are thinking. I'm in a mastermind with 3 other guys, and every quarter we share feedback for each other. The first time I did this was super edgy for me. But actually, when you join communities where this is welcome, you start developing this muscle of speaking your truth. And this is now just a standard for the friends I have. You need friends where speaking your truth is not only just welcome, it's invited. Now, number 7, this has been a new one for me. It's called Not Your Task. My friend Rich Moore taught me this one. And see, we all have certain tasks. You have tasks, I have tasks. Right now, my task is to record this video. My task is not how you feel or what you think about me. My task is not what you're doing with this video. My task is recording this video and speaking my truth. When we confuse these tasks, that's when we get anxious and worried and concerned, and we just limit ourselves. But when we focus on our tasks, we have this freedom and we just let go of everything else. This has been really big for me and changed a lot. So just tune into when you're creating content, what's your task and where are you confusing or where are you taking other people's tasks? Hopefully that makes sense. Number 8, and I haven't fully formulated this thought, but it's coming from love, service consciousness, and a growth mindset. So let me give you an example, make this real. So I think to be a powerful coach, you need far more truth slaying than niceties. I think far too many coaches are far too nice in their coaching because they're wanting to be liked, they're wanting to be validated, and they have this fear of rejection with their clients. And most coaches are masters at charisma and getting people to like them. It's the shadow of their gift, if you will. Because of this, they're never going to become a really powerful coach, because powerful coaching comes from serving, not pleasing. It comes from speaking your truth. And what I found is that sometimes the truth is actually very uncomfortable to say. However, if you say it from love and from service consciousness, and you're truly saying it for the betterment of your client, then you just can't be wrong. And I just try and remind myself of that all the time, is that I'm a good person. I'm coming from love. I'm rooted in service consciousness. And I also am willing to be wrong. I'm also okay with being wrong. And that just allows me to relax and share with total freedom. So hopefully that makes sense. It's been amazing for me and just really allowed me to speak more freely. It's taken the pressure off my coaching sessions and rid myself of this fear. And I promised 10 ways of developing this muscle of not giving a shit what other people think of you. I've just realized there are now only 8. So there you go. I've shortchanged you. I'm very sorry about that. If you judge me for it, fuck off. Sending you so much love. And if you like this video, please subscribe to this channel. I'm now doing these videos daily, and go ahead and comment on this video with your biggest insight or the one thing. And I would just suggest take one thing from this and let go of everything else. This is a process. It's not immediate. I've been at this now for 6-7 years, and only now do I really have a real level of freedom. Actually, fuck it. Number 9 is dance. Dance more. Absolutely dance more. So I've left you with one missing. Anyway, sending you so much love, and I'll catch you very soon. Bye for now.